All right. So let's get present here. So the Vart is Zoy. The Vart is today is it's Tuesday. We're here Tez Zayin, Yud Zayin, Tez Zayin, 16th day of Shvat. Shvat, also Shavuot. It's the whip. It's the energy of the whip. The whip is something that keeps us moving, something that inspires, something that something awakening, something that is ruffling the feathers, something that is moving the energy. It's awakening to something deep. So now that we're closing the gap, we're getting closer to where we need to be. So we understand that everything is connected to B'Shvat, Chamashusa B'Shvat. It's the time that it's all Rimazim, it's a Remez. Remez is not a Siman. Remez is it's an address, it's a direction.
Direction comes with clarity, right?
Of course. So what happens is that as we are downloading more and more stuff, we're becoming more and more aware. So it's a Ratzav V'Shuv. There is something of taking in, becoming new matter, picking up new matter, picking up new. In other words, what's matter? So the child is born. It's a little seed. All right, both of them would be nice. So matter. So how does that work? Let's get familiar with what's going on over here, and then we'll go into the Tanya. The child is a seed, and then from the minute it goes into the mother's womb, it starts putting up layers. Nothing is physical. Everything is just layers of energy. It's layers of energy, that the type of energy that I'm being built from, that's my makeup. So as I'm in the mother's womb, whatever the mother's going through, pain, pressure, stress, it labels good stuff, better stuff, it all it's part of the makeup. And then the child comes out and he starts, and that's the beginning of where he starts. That's where he starts moving around. Now you can trigger him. I can trigger the good, and I can trigger the not so good, and I can trigger the bad. I can trigger the trauma that's been throughout the pregnancy. I can trigger everything. So if you're in a positive environment, then you're triggering the positivity. If you're not in a positive environment, you're going to start triggering the other side, and you're suffocating the other side. So ultimately, we are born into a massive state of confusion, which means that from the beginning of where this thing started becoming, started building up, was this outmost moment of explosion of passion where two people come together and they're having a yichud, they're having intimacy. And then from that second on, the child never experiences that love again, or he does. But where we come from, it's been rough, it's been tough. There's children, there's parnasa, there's stress, and there is alta hereditary issues that we bring with us. So the child gets triggered, and then from there, he's 3 or 4, he's still cute, and so on and so forth. And then he starts triggering all the other stuff gets triggered from that. So the part is that there is different, in order to get out of the cycle, in order to create a new spin, a new cycle, you have to make change. It's called Iskafia and Ishapcha. Thank you. It's called Iskafia and Ishapcha. So Ishapcha, Iskafia and Ishapcha. So Iskafia means that I'm holding back, and Ishapcha means that I'm changing, I'm flipping over. Iskafia is that I'm going to say no. We don't like using the word break in Hasidus because we don't break. We do everything with passion and love. We don't want to break anything. There's enough of this, but it's, in other words, it's breaking my status quo from tremendous saying no, no, no. Just when you think that you're going to explode, that's when you're giving birth to something new. When you're breaking your shell, you're breaking the ice on on top, like it's crack, and that's where the flow starts again. That's where the flow begins again. So there are different times that we are just energy bodies. This is not what you see here. This is just a band-aid. It's a thing that we're going to get rid of. We're giving this thing a bitter. As we're becoming more aware, we're starting to eat healthier, think healthier, unplug, disconnect from the garbage news that's feeding the negative matter. It keeps triggering the negative matter. It's going to keep triggering the negative matter. So as we get away from that, why do we get away from that? Because we're starting to realize and we're becoming aware that it's just garbage. Let's move a drop this way because this is good. Okay, perfect. Okay. So what they are doing is they are trying to keep triggering the negative effect, the negative force. So they're going to keep pumping fear and pressure and stress. So what's happening is that until now it was done through work. Now that has been kind of cleared away because of the year or 2 years of lockdown and all that stuff, and they had to, in order to keep control, they had to send out checks for people to stay calm so they stay in control. And now it's with the masks and all that stuff just to create confusion and fear. But really what's happening is it's makas choshech and full-fledged, full throttle. And you can have, on one side, there is absolute panic, and then on the other side, the whole Bnei Yisrael, Moshe Weisz, and people are sitting around, going, coming. This like as if not, more and more it's becoming more and more, the norm. Now it's a getchkitza with the Zura and all that stuff because we have to buy into the fear, but fine. But with learning, with processing high content stuff, this thing has wheels. It spins. It keeps spinning. Everybody has a different spin. It's just very intricate, beautiful computers. Every person, every body has a different letter that's connecting him to the mothership, which is the Sefer Torah, and from there these words were carved out from Tehira Eloah, like he carved out. We'll get into that some other time how the letter started, and then from this tremendous pure light, here we are. Okay, so there is, by putting in this content, this consciousness, these letters, and this very high frequency stuff, which is called Toras Bashem, Chasidus, and ultimately it's called Toras Mashiach, because it brings unity, it brings oneness, and on top of that, it's called, in Chasidus, it's called Efer HaPara. This is the Efer HaPara that this Mashiach is sprinkling on consciousness, which is Baal Shem Tov, when this message, when this consciousness is going to spread everywhere, and it's going to infect everything. Now there's two ways you can infect with the kaf smoil, with whatever they're putting out there, keep infecting. Or we can infect our brains with this stuff. And if you infect your brain, your consciousness with this stuff, you're basically free. You don't have to plug into any of that. Now, once again, this gives you the power that it's going to light up the Chelik HaTov, the light within you. And then you have a choice. You can feed and trigger this. You can feed the negative stuff. Then you're going to go into more confusion. Remember, you have way more power now because you're energized and you're fully aware. So as this information comes in, either you're going to send it flying or it's going to chabzicharan and it can spin you, but it doesn't really have much. If you keep checking in and you keep recharging the batteries, then it burns out, because this is way stronger than what they're giving. So there are many times, there's different ways how this program works, how this computer works. You have different Yom Tovim, you have the Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. We did Pesach, we did Shavuos. Pesach was the light comes down on the first night. and then it gets slow down. Pesach, okay, okay. So, because I want to get to it, this is just the. Okay, fine. You're saying it's too much for your computer.
No, je zegt, ja, whatever. Dit is veel te die hoekstigheid.
No, we're just in flow. Yeah. So, yeah, listen, you don't have to follow, we don't have to follow.
Follow je de woord.
Good. I'm saying, but even to listen to it, there's many aspects to it. There's different, just being in the presence, it's fine. When there's something important, I'm gonna press on it. They're all important when there's a highlight. So Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, we did Pesach I'm just doing Chazurah. Pesach is where there's a massive light that comes in, and the first night, and then it gets pulled out, and then what's left is, imagine like when a bomb lands in the ocean, a massive bomb that bombs the whole ocean and the boardwalk and the sand and everything, and then you pull out a magnet comes and pulls out all that metal, and what's left is just the imprint of what it left, and that is kind of like gevuras, it's kind of like black ice, and that's from there we go 49 days, a process of elimination. We do, in other words, I see chesed shebechesed, I touch the muscle, I release chesed gevura shebechesed, and so on and so forth. We keep going down the line until we make it to 49. We get into kesed, which is being present with my higher conscious, with myself, and every year you're going to go into a higher level and a higher level, more peeling, and if one person is in a higher consciousness, then everybody gets raised to that consciousness, just pulled out, magnetic field, until you get to Shavuos, Sukkot, and then from there we're going into Sukkot. Sukkot is a time where we go into an incubator where it's tremendous love and all that, and then from there after Rosh Hashanah and Kippur we do the physical avodah, and then there are different times that we get like after we picked up this new matter now, we need something very strong and very powerful to resuscitate and rejuvenate and just shock the body to wake up to this, almost like because there's so much matter, new matter, that needs some light, some fire. So we have different days, which is Hanukkah. These are different Yom Tovim. They're designed to be during the week. So specifically, if I go into Yom Tov mode, I can go through a process, but I do Yom Tov, and then when I have to go back to work, I don't know how to integrate. This is a Yom Tov during the weekdays, so you're integrating as you're downloading. So this is this tremendous light. This is Hanukkah. Hanukkah is one, and then Chamishos B'Shvat is another one, a very, very powerful day. Don't think because you missed it that it's where everything is happening now. There's no past and no future, so we can just tap into the consciousness. Once it's downloaded, we tap into it. So Chamishos B'Shvat is a time that is called the sraf, the burn. It's the first signs of life, where the tree goes into froze mode. It gets completely frozen, dead, because in order to grow, I need to first leave everything behind. Before a tree can start growing, the seed that's planted has to first rot away, complete bittul, nothing to remember, nothing of my past, and then from there he can start growing to a beautiful tree. So Chamishus B'Shvat is one of these days. It's the first time that after going into freezing mode, the tree gets the first sign of life. How? Because there's this oil that's called the fire of the tree comes down here, and it shocks the tree, and this is where we start. You get back to life. Okay, fine. We just walked out of Tavis. It was dark. It was heavy, and we're coming into this. And yeah, which by the way, if you look back, even Tavis, once you have this consciousness, it's not so dark anymore. It went through like a breeze, right? There's no winter depression. There's none of that stuff because you're just in a higher vibration. The Choshech consciousness wants you to be in depression because that's where he eats. That's where he gets his fuel from. When you start spinning, you're depressed, get into arguments, like a flow. That's where he lives. So fine. So that's the tree. Now, Adam Eitz Asada, we eat from the tree. The same thing happens for us too. That Chamishus B'Shvat is where we get this tremendous jolt of light and fire that turns on, and we're able to start processing and becoming one with our new matter that we picked up over the last period. It brings it to life. And there's already different tunnels and different veins, because remember, all the mitzvahs are the Ramach Ivrim and Shasar Giddim, there's 248 mitzvahs esses and 365 lois esse, which is not doing, and then there's doing. There's the not doing. The lois esse is that I'm tapping in to my creator by doing not, just being present, and that is way higher than the esse, because the esse I'm still doing something to receive back in return. Here I'm doing something just to be. It's called Yashas Choshech Sisra. He sits in darkness, and in other words, there's no just tainuk, there's just being. So that's through the loisas, and there's a way to activate that part too. I'm not doing this, bring life and tremendous fire in the not doing. And then there's the esse, and there's the Ramach mitzvahs esse. So they're Avrim, and then there's the Giddim, right? So the Avrim are all connected. Every body part is connected. So there's a mitzvah of Chamashus B'Shvat, that's one Yom Tov, and then there's another Yom Tov that's Nisan, which is Pesach, and we're already connected. Underground tunnels are already connected. What does that mean? We'll get to that in a second. So the trees that are becoming alive now are starting to blossom in Nisan. So there's already a connection over here, right? So we see the connection. There's also 40 days for Arburim Yom Kod Machag, which is we're already going into Purim. Thank God it's a leap year, because there's so much to process that I don't think we're ready to go next month into Purim. It's just
why is it 40?
Because fin Chamashuse B'Shvat biz Purim biz Yidalat is wifel. No, it's just
30 days.
It is 30 days?
30
Okay,
days.
fine. So what are we saying? 40?
2 days short. 28
Okay, so maybe I saw it about Yud Shvat. Okay, fine. So that was 40 days. Okay. Yeah, it was 40 days, because I saw it in the Sikha. Okay.
40 days from each spot.
Yeah. So there's a machloike. Some say Arbu and Yom Koden Avlat, Sapsach Shenun Demons. Okay, fine. So the word is that there's already these different underground tunnels that we can connect to, which means that we can tap in. And if you look at the parsha, this year is Tavshin Pei Beis Shnas Ponim Beponim. We're in Beshalach. We're talking about the matzahs. You asked about the matzah, why there's matzahs. So, it's all, everything is connected. And if you want to say that, it's just a coincidence, then you're out of flow. But if you're connected in, and everything is connected in the Kav Emunah, then everything is connected. There is no coincidence. There is none of that. So this is where we're at right now. So we're going to start off with, first of all, our Yom Yom of today. Of the Moiri Omer. Zwischen Kelt and Kfire is Gura Dinam Chitza. Kaltkeit and Kfire is a very thin line. It's a very thin Mechitza. It's a very thin separation. Steht, Ki Hashem Elokecha Eish Achlehu. This consciousness that we're talking about is Eish Achle. It's a fire that eats. A fire that eats, it eats all negativity. It just eats. You can't stop it. If you get up against it, it's just going to devour everything inside. It's very powerful.
I didn't understand.
It says...
What eats up what?
So we're talking about like this. There is Kfira, and then there is Kalkat. Somebody that are likened to like, In other words, so it's his kalt. He's cold, yeah? I'm not feeling it. Between this and Kfira, to Uplach and the ganze Sache is all bizarre. Again, Zugan is kalt, mine is Kfira. So, Klippa is hiding it and making it look, gives it a different... As a kalter mensch, no brother, you're this close to Kfira. Because if you think that 10 years ago, today I have Siyata D'Shmai, I see the Eibishter and everything, but now that I look back, I should have never gone into this business because it was probably a mistake. That is Kfira. So basically, Eibishter just showed up now, and 10 years ago he was not here. What happened is that now you became aware of what's going on, and 10 years ago you were sleeping. You were under the auspices of Das Tachten, so you were sleeping. So Kfir and Kalkat are very close. Steht Hashem Elokecha Eish Achlehu, that the Eibishter in the God, Hashem Elokecha means Yudke Vavke, which is the light, which is the oil, the experience that you have, the deep experience. Elokecha Hashem Elokim, which is Teva, which is how it shows up in letters and in communication, how we communicate with it, is a flam fire. Elkus is flam fire, it's fire. Which is, just to understand what this means, fire is that if you're experiencing different movements in your life, and different things are shifting for the good and for the not so good, that is Eish Achle. It's this fire that's eating you, that's eating away at it. So start looking at the positive. So you're attached to the fire rather than being attached to the other side of it, because something has to hold the fire. So you have a choice. Paroi is pushing you. He keeps awakening your negative side. So I hold on to my negative. So when I hold on to my negative, I'm activating my negative. But if I tap into always constantly look for the positive, 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 then you will activate only positive, and that's the Nesher mode, where you just live in the Munah. Learning and davening. Badarfim mit des Lahavas Alev, Stavzam mit des Lahavas Alev, which means Tefillah is avodah shebelev. Tefillah is not something that I get into my head, I start figuring out and calculating and doing different things. Tefillah is avodah shebelev. Chamshusa B'Shvat is also with daven for the esrog, which is the heart. It's also a fruit that is on the tree all year round, and it doesn't fade. That's when it's most beautiful, which is, once again, we're talking about us, Adam Eitz Asada. We are on the tree, we're out there in the cold and the spring and the fall and the summer, and we're learning. Once I recognize how the system works, once I understand what's going on, I'm taking everything as that makes me stronger. There's a lesson in everything. Askolatz Moise Taman, the Divra Hashem and Torah Tefillah. But just by davening for it, you're going to have the esrog. Alright? So, you didn't need the esrog, you have the esrog inside. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai doch gehad kein esrog. So tefillah, what is tefillah? Tefillah is when you ask, going to your desire, tap into your desire, go into your place of purity, your innocence, and ask from that place. You think it, you feel it, then you put words, letters to what you're feeling, and then you say it, and then you can anchor it with something or somebody, putting in something in the pishka or telling somebody a good word. So you anchor that intention and watch it grow. Watch it manifest, watch it happening. So this is tefillah. Now nobody here is asking for anybody here to sit and daven for bavoida for 2 or 3 hours or an hour and a half. But what's asked is, since we are all frontline soldiers, the avodah shebalav tefillah is your day to day. All your struggles and all your opposition or whatever you're feeling, that's the tefillah. That's the tefillah we're talking about. Whoever is struggling, someone here is struggling with davening, you put on the tefillin for 6 minutes and connect from a very deep place. Say Shema Yisrael from that place. It's not don't molest the tefillah. Don't molest your little child. Don't molest the innocence. Don't lie to him. Don't lie to yourself. If you can't daven, if davening is just something that is something you need to get over with, something that if I don't do, then I'm going to be looked at, or at this point the tefillin is sitting there and whenever I get to it. Be real with yourself. As innocent and honest you're going to be with yourself, that's how innocent and honest it's going to be back at you. So if all you can do is 6 minutes, put on the tefillin, wrap yourself, sit, listen to a niggun, and say Shema Yisrael, and then take it off and go on with your day and watch what happens. That is lighting up that tree, lighting up that sraf, lighting up that burn of the Eitz Asada, the Eitz Achaim. I'm alive al Tzavari. Just go for it. If it's hard, just do whatever you can do. Should be with the tamimis and should be with real. Stop lying to your little boy because of what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do. What are they saying and doing right now? Nobody cares. They're lying. They're stealing. They're lost. They're spinning. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody is so confused that all they're looking for is for the bottom line. But we are making a change. If you have had enough of the pain, and now you got an edge on the pain by cracking the shell, and now you're able to see it from on top, from above, then be honest and start bringing light. Become a lamplighter by the way you know, by being honest and truthful. And I want to go back to the basics. The basics is Nikiyas, Tahara, Kedusha. Nikiyas starts by being mindful where I am. What is the mask teaching us? The mask is teaching us back in the day, the times of the Beis Hamikdash, when somebody coughed or somebody spit, you couldn't eat the food anymore. Where were you? There was no shaking hands. Why didn't you the hand to give in? I'm here in a different vibe over here. I'm in the middle of processing something. You're shaking my hand. I'm confused. I don't know where you were. I'm taking on your energy, and then that's going to spin me. We're becoming mindful. I'm becoming. The mask has given us a message. Now, if you can look at it and say that it came from a place of the he said so, stop with that. There's Ein Movada, he runs the show. Lakud Elokai, he's everything. And he's sending a message. Like, God, get back, get present. You cough into your hand, cough into your sleeve, or cough into a tissue. Sneeze into a tissue when you're in public. Be mindful. Do not throw out stuff from your car. Don't throw stuff on the floor. This is our space. The more, and by doing, let me tell you what happens. Every time you do that, you're spreading yourself. You're spreading yourself out. If I cough and somebody just took that in and he's spinning, I am stuck now with him and he's dragging me with him all day long. And then if I go to the bathroom and I piss on the toilet seat and somebody comes in after me, this guy's frustrated now. And this is come now. If you go to restroom on the way, don't worry about it. Don't even bother with that. You need to pick anything up. I'm just saying, like, the Dalit Amos, be mindful where you are. Be mindful, be present. And what's going to happen is it's going to rain. It's going to rain your energy in. You're going to center yourself. And by centering yourself, there's going to come a lot of Menichas HaNefesh. And when there's Menichas HaNefesh, you will show up like this in your house. And your kids and your wife, everybody's going to find their space. And Sevir Teroik. Sevir Teroik. Because now you're not spread all over. Because Choshech and Klippa ones, it's love, let's do this, it all matters, me too, Kishin Tuchas. That's not the way it works. It all matters, we know how it matters. We know exactly how it matters. We care, we love. And of course, in a clean area, we know we shake hands, it's everybody's here and everybody's present, it's a different story. But in the Wildkeit and all that, let's stay one thing at a time, let's keep it real and let's stop the pain and raise the awareness, raise the consciousness. So that's Nikiyas, and then of course there's to be tahara, purify yourself, wash your hands at least negelvasser. It's a very powerful thing. We can go on and on with this, but I'm not looking to burden anybody. I'm just focusing on the positive. All right, so let's keep mindfulness to at least the stuff that you do, to be mindful that you're doing it with intent and with purpose. So everybody, let's close your eyes. Inhale, relax your jaws, open your mouth, relax your solar plexus, just inhale. Relax the top of your head, sides. Just going to go back to the fire in the center of the head. I want you to visualize like there's a fire in the center of the head. Wow. It's like, guys, there's really, there's real din v'dayan. There's real, it's nicht gonna gewalt, telling you. Nicht gonna gewalt. Nothing to worry about anything. 40 gewalt. 40 gewalt. So,
What happened?
what's that?
What happened now?
Just sharing different things that were taking place today and different back and forth that's going on and how ze 40 geweld, you know, it's nicht gonna geweld. If the good people finish last, but they finish. And they finish strong. Yeah. Good people finish last, and last is happening right now. Last is in full throttle. Last is in full throttle. Siyat Tzviri Sashiyas Hashem. So, pass me that chumash right there, next to it. Next is a chumash. No, keep going. It's the first sefer. Look at me, Nachum. It's the first sefer facing this way. It's the first. Right there. It's right in front of you. Yep, that's it.
What's the definition of good people?
Definition of good people is us sitting right here. That's the definition of good people. You know why? Because you're finishing last. That's how I know we're good people. Because the ones that are not, I'm not gonna say they're not here, but the ones that are not in search are not done yet. They're still looking. They're still hopping. So if you're checked in to grounding yourself, it means that, you know, you're finishing last. There was no other choice. And you surrendered. You picked up your hands. And you finished last, but you're finishing strong. And so let's do a little bit because of Bashalach. I feel we have to share. We have to go in there for a minute. It's very, very powerful stuff. Where the Torah is telling us what's going on over there.
Shalach was last week.
Yes. It's fine. We're still. It's good. Bist das sehr sadivres? Bist noch nicht gerade für das sehr sadivres?
Ich habe gemacht, dies gemacht, ein mistake.
Nein, es ist du sagst ein mistake.
Nein.
We gaan.
Till Wednesday, if you know.
Yeah. Well, technically speaking, the shir is Sunday.
So you know what?
The shir is Sunday. So I'm still on Sunday. Okay?
The Shira Sunday?
The shir used to be Sunday. So.
Yeah, you remember? 5:30.
Why don't you take a shot glass? There's glasses there.
Oh,
There's no shot glass? 1 second. You want a drink? You want a shot? It's a nice, so we have Shalach Pale, so on, but noch Malakim, the Elcheles Pelishtim, because we come on Malakim, Tanye Nachem, Aham, Beros, and Macham, Shav, Mitzrayim. So basically, as Pare sent out the in other words, as we were leaving our own imprisonment, so he didn't take us through the way of Pelishtim, because it was too close. And then when we're going to see the fight, we're gonna get scared. We're gonna run away. He took us around Derech HaMidbar. In other words, he took us into a place of unknown. There is nothing else going on over there. It's a midbar. It's pissed. It's beast. The midbar is right now when you're chasing your whatever dream that has been exposed, that is just a lie and all that. That's the midbar, because it's like eating without teeth. You have no taste anymore. You have no bite. It's not sticking anymore. Yam Suv Chamishim Alu Bnei Yisrael Meretz Mitzrayim. In other words, Chamishim is 50. Yam Chamishim is 50. So 50 is the Nun Shara Bina, and as we tap into that, you're untouchable. Okay, when I step into my light, I step into my power, then I'm untouchable. V'ikech Moshe Weisz Yosef, Imoi kehash b'ishbias b'nei Yisrael leim pak div chelekim eschem v'lisim esmoisim mizeh. I'm not sure it's 52. It was in Visigat, but we'll figure it out. So the Atzmas Yosef. So Atzmas Yosef is okay. So Atzmas Yosef is Yosef came into Mitzrayim, and he put in, as when Potiphar was chasing him around, he put his nails into the ground, and he planted his seed in the ground. And this is the koyach that we have, that no matter how deep we are in the pit, no matter how deep we are in this choshech, we have the koyach to get up and to fight. We have the koyach to understand. And this is the Atzmas Yosef, is all the tzaddikim iskashas with tzaddikim iskashas with innocence. The tzaddik brings out the tamimus, he brings out the amunah. So once you're mekushif to that, it's pakad yifka elikim eschem v'lisim eschem tzmois mezeh. You will wake up, you will get out. If you have the tamimus and if you have the kabbalah's oil to be mavatli yourself and machni yourself under the tzaddik. The tzaddik is the Torah. The tzaddik is your day to day. The tzaddik is your day to day. The tzaddik is your Kabbalah sale. The tzaddik is you waking up and saying, today I have a schedule. I'm breaking my atzvus and I'm breaking my anxiety. I'm breaking my depression and I'm tapping into something higher. That is the tzaddik. Of course, there's different levels of tzaddikim. There's going to akeva. There's going to learning the svarim of tzaddikim. But that is the tzaddik. Going to daven with your tefillin, that is your tzaddik.
What is a kever?
A kever is that's where the bones of the tzaddik are. That's where he is. The nefesh always stays there. You can go when you go. The tzaddik there's a part of that stays in the guf. There's a certain chiyus that stays in the guf, and every day, and especially in the day of his yahrzeit, he gets a specific, because that's when mazla gover. It's too loud. That's when it's mazla gover. That's his mazla gover. That means that he is going into tremendous flow. That's when he was born. That's when there was such a overwhelming force of his koyach that came in, that he lit up at that time, that he was able to make it into. He couldn't hold himself back, and he came into Welt. The tzaddik has bittul, so he could have stayed up there and just gerim gedreid over the overste Welten, but he came into Welt. Because the fire for Mesiras Nefesh to save another Yid, to bring light into the world, overcomes his own desire of staying and sitzen dort, and as we say, like dwelling in the greatness of Hashem, the Ziv Hashem. So he comes down.
That's on the Utah, on the regular day.
On the regular, there's always there. The tzaddik is always there, and if you learn something, a Mishnah or something like that, you awaken that koich within him, and then if you go to the cave, or you can be mekasher whatever you are. The Baal Shem Tov gave us the secret. You don't need to go anywhere. You can be mekasher. You can have his kashers right here. If you learn something, you give tzedukah, ilu nishmas for that neshama, then what happens is that if you learn mishnayos for the tzaddik instead of yourself, so you're getting the oir through the tzaddik. And of course you want to get it through the tzaddik because we don't know, we can be sometimes wild as you take an oir, mechap taline b'mtish, when I'm taline shrine, it gets confusing because it's too much or you don't know what to do with it. But if you flush it through the tzaddik has chesed v'rachma, he knows exactly how to give it to you in a way of nichas and shleimus and beauty, and let him do his own program.
Question: how do you balance the oiras when it's coming?
Like this, by checking in. This is how you balance the oiras.
I'm asking you, how do you balance it when it's coming at you?
On a personal level, I can't tell you, but this is how we balance the oiras. Right now, here, this is how you balance it, by checking in. By taking all the oir and you're just checking in to one space. You're taking out, you carve out the 2 or 3 hours and you shut down and you just tune in. This is recharging higher consciousness. There is no inikas chatzanim. There's no. This is it. They went from sukkahs, from the little comfort, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Chassidus, it's high up there, but B'Ktzei Midbar is an end of the Midbar. Where else is this high level consciousness going to land, if not in Ktzei Midbar? Where else are you going to download? Where else are you going to download this level of awareness and connection, if not through all the heavy stuff that you went through? That's what pushed you into finding yourself and higher self. We'll do 1 or 2 more psukim and then we'll stop. Exactly. During the day, he goes with them with the anan to show them the way, to make nicha for the way. Now yomam could be could be middle of the night also. Any time that you have some menichas hanefesh, you have some clarity, that is the amad anan and yomam that's showing you the way of it flattens out the way. When you're learning Torah, it's the Volkan Dananam that flatten out all the hurdles and everything that you came in confused, and all of a sudden it's flat ground. Flat ground.
Learning Torah is also connected, right? Not Torah.
That's what we're talking about. Talking about learning Torah.
But is also not only learning Torah, just connecting without.
So wait a second. So there is the Amid Anan, which is learning Torah and Maas and Torah and mitzvahs, that are positive thinking and all that. That is my Amid Anan. When I do something positive, I don't see any hurdles. I'm in perfect flow. There's no question. And then Ba'amad Eish, Valayla Ba'amad Eish, Lahar Lahem Lechas Yom Valayla. Now the Amad Eish is a fire cloud, it's a fire volcan. It's an anan of fire. Now this fire burns, but if you understand and you have bittul and you have hiskashers, you understand that this fire is just here for you to give you fire so you can walk the way the Amid Anan. So it all works hand in hand. Right? Like we said, ask Rashi, what is this? Either how can you break and make with the same hand? How does this work? So he says that Eibishter, he can do that. He can, with the same hand that he hits, he can also give pleasure. He can also give chesed and all that. Now we understand that. What does it mean for us on the receiving end of it? That as something, when it's good, I'm connected. And when I'm having hardship, I understand that it's only to trigger my goodness. It's only to show me the way, to trigger me into this tremendous light that's coming down. And as you can see, that whatever got you into the space that you are right now was from pain, from the squeeze, from the Amid Eish. So now that we know the recipe, we don't think anymore that I'm in a spin, it's happening. No, you're spinning very well to wake up to the Amid Anan. Otherwise, you would be fast asleep, being busy with business ayam. It's always there. It's always with us. You just got to tap into it. Okay. Then he tells us to stay by Migdal ben Ayam. Migdal is the physical. The Migdal is here. V'daber el b'nei Yisrael. V'daber Hashem al Moshe Weisz. V'daber b'nei Yisrael. V'yishivu yachne fnei pi achiras. They should guide see pi achiras. That's what you should stop. This pi achiras is ben Migdal even Ayam. It's between Migdal, Migdal is the physical. It's the cement, the bricks, and the block. Your daily grind. Eben Ayam is the level 50 Shara Bina, which is the non-physical. It's Ein Soif. And this is where we're stopping. We're at the cross, like we're here and we're here. But understand that what's pressing you over here, so tune in to the other side where you have the Yam, where you have the Nun Sharabina, where you have the Ein Sof, where you have this light that's rejuvenating and keeping you going. Paro is going to think that you're stuck. Okay? Paro is going to think that you're in a state of confusion. And as you think, I think I'm losing control, I'm not sure where I am, what's going on over there, should I not? So Paro is telling you you're confused. You're not confused. You know exactly where it's at. Remember, there's Ahmed Eish and Ahmed Anan. The Chazakti is Leif Paro. I'm going to strengthen, I'm going to turn up the heat in the heart of Paro. In your inside, in your turmoil, in your confusion, in your unknown, I'm going to turn up the heat. What happened over here is that as I'm turning on the heat, Paro is going to come chasing me. I'm going to have questions, I'm not going to be sure, I'm going to be confused, I'm going to question the process. All that is what happens as he turns on the heat, we run into the water. And as you run into the water, what you're facing, your issues, you're facing your problems, what you find over there is Paro is going to drown, and you're going to come up on the other side. Because we have the other side, we have the Yam also, we have the Amid Anna, we have Torah Mitzvahs, I have Tanik built in Murgish, I have my program that's called Yitzchak Avinu, which I have tremendous Gevuras. No matter how strong the squeeze gets, I can always find the positive in it. I have the tools to always find the light in it. Because it's ingrained in us. You can't be broken. A Yid can't be broken. It's nitzchis, it's forever, it's oilmas, it's ein soif, it's netzchis ra'aloi shakir. If you have gaiva and you have your own ego, it's netzchis ra'aloi shakir. Sof, there's an akudas emes over there. There's a purpose that you can spin it into the emes. Yes, I'm giving tzedakah because I want to feel good. I want to be mechud, but sof, you will get to a point where you're going to feel that you're doing it for the true purpose. Don't worry about you not having the right intention right now, because it's just trapped in different types of levushim and paroi. But as the squeeze, then pop, it's out. Okay, and then Gevaracham v'yachlo paroi. What's that?
That's the Gevira finding.
The Gevira is, as I'm going into this Gevura, I know that inside there must be light. Woייsz has to do a light out. I know that at the end of the day, no matter how strong the squeeze gets, I have a moment where I sit by my Shabbos table, I give my tzedakah, or I give somebody a compliment, and I'm feeling something, I'm connecting to something real. And all of a sudden you realize that there's no fear. Everybody's in panic, and over here, that is right in your face. If you need more proof than that, this is right in your face that what's going on over here. We're like, I'm stuck, I'm trapped, what am I doing now? Okay, so Hashem yilachem lechem v'atem tachirishin. Hisyat tzviris yishiyis Hashem. You will never see Mitzrayim like this again. Once you get a little crack of light, it will never have the same grip on you. He can't. You already see it. He can't have. You're already here. You're activated here. And as he tries to climb this little Amulek, he comes, because he's Reshis Amalek, he meets us at the top of Das, and he puts in my doubt. My doubt makes me cold. He catches me when I'm weak. We did it already like 2 weeks ago. But once I see it, and at this point you have no choice, because you know what the question is going to be? What's the alternative? You already know what's going on the other side. You already know. Go ahead, go back. Go back into the lie, go back into fitting in, go back into not upsetting anybody. Being normal. It's his issue with the issue. What's happening? Nothing is happening. You're just living and laughing a good day because you are connected. You don't need anything. You don't need to travel. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to you can just be with yourself. You can sit with yourself. And the more you tune into yourself, the more the more radius you create, distance you create between you and the negative. And then you're able to see it from a mile away.
Plus you don't need to travel. No.
Yeah, what do you mean don't need to travel? Because if
you mention it for some reason, so
no, because right now it's hard to travel, and everybody's like they're gonna figure out how to get in and how to get out. Listen to the message. If your mamash need to get in, get out. Get in and get out. But if it's not in flow, if I need to ibedra veld and listen to the flow. Stay in flow. Flow is als ik kijk zie schwer is nicht von mir. You try it once, you try it twice.
Exactly.
You can't go weiter because
It's not meant to be.
it's not just not meant to be. There's obviously a bigger message for you here. Stay present. There's something more important happening over here. Don't get distracted by because Pari is chasing and now we could go in, now we can't go in. Halt dich met de scheuren. I don't need to get in. I'll get in when I'm ready. And when I'm ready, the doors will be wide open. He can't stop even when he wants. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I had a wedding over here and okay, they can start. We're already seeing. There it is. There's schon ungesucht.
Any problems?
They love them off, yeah, they're busting.
Jawel.
Laat me gaan camera aan Tanya.
Tanya, deze de Kitamura?
Yeah, let's go. What's the question? Totdat ergens te vragen is. Alright, you guys are ready? Phones on plane mode, please. We're losing like one tire. When it gets cold, the tire loses air. We're good there?
Joi.
Okay. Guys are ready to dive in? Just laying on either side? What's that? For those naysayers, you have to say this.
Yeah. Yes, my mom is chill. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question before.
Yep.
Do we get to a moment where we look forward and succumb the squeeze? Like we're looking forward to the thing that's coming out on the other side?
If you're
or it needs to go through and then it comes out, meaning can we already look forward, we be excited when Sikkim does that?
Who's the we?
it depends what.
Can we?
We.
It's all.
Also.
So I get the cash up.
Yeah. So I'll if we are an animal like me, then yes. But if no, listen. At some point you get tired of it. Yes, you're like enough. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
I'm good. Yeah. But that's what it says. That because they don't have the squeeze. They have nothing that inspires them. So you have that. We have that burn. We're still like feeling the burn. So it's inspiring and it wakes up. It gives you more koyach. Right? Until you learn not to have fear, you just learn to just as you feel it. It's shvat, the shevet. You feel the whip, and you just know that it's an opportunity.
Oh.
It's an opportunity. So it's hard to get the message alone. So if you do a kumzitz, a chabire, that's when you fire up and what Chassidim have been saying, the Rebbes have been saying that we can often a Chassidish verbringen can the mouth machol nicht often.
What is it? Balance, Moshe.
I see that.
Moshe, wie ist es balance? Thomas, it's stark.
Thomas, it's stark. I'm going to ask you a question. When your problems are hitting you, when Monday comes and you're going into the financials and whatever is else, the pain, the guilt that I'm feeling for my children, my wife, my parnasa, does anybody knock on the door like, hello, Mr. Mechi, how much are you going to handle today? We have a whole menu of pain for you. You want to choose which one you would want to deal with today? Or is it like, today everything is on the house, you're getting everything? Okay.
You have an overload of confidence today. Like, gewoon mooi dat ze niet balance.
Well, guess what? Deal with it.
Okay, deze wil ik vreden.
Yeah.
I like constructive.
So let me tell you something.
Is that okay to say?
Yes. Yes, because I'll tell you why. Because you Anybody. Let me
have
tell
an
you this.
overload of confidence all of a sudden.
Let me tell you like
and
this.
it's not balanced.
Your confidence, no, I'm listening, I'm answering. Your confidence and everybody's confidence here is going to be checked about 10 times a day. Okay? You have nothing to worry about.
Right.
My ego, if it give me a compliment, my ego, guess what? Don't worry about my ego. My ego is checked every hour of the day.
It's true.
Okay? My ego is checked. Okay? And the bank account, and out there on the street with the car, with everybody, you check. So don't worry about overconfident me. I'll deal with it. That's my avoidance.
Fine.
Okay?
Okay.
That's it. So that's it. So anybody that is too caught up and it's too much for him, we get it. His little boy is too much.
So what's the shape?
So what you tell him is like, why don't you focus on the light that you see?
Yeah.
I get that my confidence may be too
What
strong,
if
but
that
tell me what the
doesn't
positive.
Moshe, what if that doesn't work?
If
Let
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Yes.
Do I block out that?
No, I'm going to ask you a question, and I know I'm talking clearly.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
If your child went to school, okay? If your child went to school, and you find out that he's being abused, he's being bullied, okay? Which means like the poor kid is being bullied. What do? Do you tell him, Shefela, hold yourself back, or do you like take the kid and take him out of school? I'm talking about, yes, we work it out, but let's just say if my kid goes to a babysitter that's abusing the child,
You take him out.
do I leave the kid there?
Do I take him? I take
Fine,
him
the
out.
school was a little too aggressive because we go through a little challenges
I
with
take
everything.
him out.
Take him out.
You said it very
Okay. So if your child that
Yeah.
steps into work or whatever, and your child is being is suffocating, okay, do I need to get out?
Okay, done deal.
Okay. So we said this before.
It's done.
And the same, yeah,
Done deal.
done. That's it. If you can't handle
Message received.
now that you're hold on, let me go further with this.
Yeah, fine.
Now that you already know what it means to be in flow, which is not
That's
necessarily what it means to be in flow. You know what it means to be not in flow.
Oh, wow.
You know how dark
Painful
it
that
gets,
is.
how painful
Wow.
that is. Back pain, low pain, pishing pain, and all types of stuff.
You know,
Ik ga niet zo.
kind of personal.
Ik ga personal. Ik ga personal.
Jetzt gaat het party.
Ik ga pratiek. Ik ga pratiek. Ik kan scooteren, ik kan zo. No, that's an issue. It's not.
It's okay. It's okay. Ik ga nog altijd trekken wanneer. It's okay.
Fine.
Fishing pain, pelvic pain.
No, you didn't. Pelvic pain, not the pushing pain. It was never an issue. That was never. I was just saying, fine. So now that I know that, I don't need much to convince me that if it's a toxic environment for me,
Out.
we gaan nog met een shit spelen.
Wauw, die heeft sigaretten er.
We gaan nog met een shit spelen. Because clearly Ahmed Aish is directing me. Ahmed Aish is telling me, dude, fine, here you have fire, good. I'm inspired to do what? Listen. When I'm feeling the burn, instead of staying there like an idiot and getting burned up, I'm saying, where is this fire pushing me to? It's pushing me to my Ahmed Unan. It's pushing me to my Ahmed Unan, which is my light. So if this is the fire, let me run. Away from here, it's going to take me to my light. Because out of here is already lichtig. Okay? So I'm going to find a different job, and I'm going to find a different whatever, and glide with that. Ich weiß.
Why is it not taking you?
Mashigi geworden von der Minion. Yeah. What?
Why is it not taking you back to the old place where you were?
Well, in your case, it may take you back. That's where we start spinning in anxiety. So it takes me back. So you keep going back and back and back until you're like, I'm like, okay, get me out of here. Fine. So now you start thinking an alternative, right? You start thinking an alternative. This guy's like telling me, people don't see me, people don't hear me, people don't respect me. I'm like, how do you show up? How do you show up? Because you've been sitting here for 35 minutes and I can't get a word out of you. Like you're nothing. I'm telling you, move here, move there. I can push you in any direction. How do you show up? Right? Show up. Tell me what you want. Speak. Right? This is where you give birth. This is where you give birth to your inner child. This is the space here is created for the little child to be able to spread his legs, to get a taste of what it feels like, to take up space, to mean something, to listen, to take it in. So that's So be mindful. If I'm spinning back into a problem, I'm becoming aware. Okay, I need help. That's why we go to somebody else. Right? It's called. Me too. There's some level where I'm blocked. I recognize I'm stuck. I'm like, I feel I'm stuck. And you go to somebody to give you a psavart, or you learn something and to open you up and give you. And then you go to somebody. I'm spinning over here. Where am I at? Right. So you get some clarity and you're able to enter, to exit. V'hinei midazois lakoil. Let it be known to koil. Ki mitzvahs v'azaras avodah. Yes.
Your knife in the top?
No, no.
Yeah.
Harry Weisz? By Kuf?
Yeah. Very well.
No.
Shem shnei dibros harishonim anochi v'lo yilecha hem kololos korah terekila. And anochi v'lo yilecha is the ganze Torah is already included in that, in those two words. Anochi is the essa, v'lo yilecha is the lois esses. Ki dibber anochi koil kol ramach mitzvahs essa. The word anochi is koil all the 248 mitzvahs essa. V'lo yilecha koil kol shasam mitzvahs lois essa. And you should not have is koil all the lois esses. We're going to go into a very deep, beautiful explanation of who we are. We are put together from two polar opposites. Yes and no. This is where we exist. And in this friction we exist. Okay? Now also we're yonik, when we do something we pull down, and then when we don't do something we hold. We create a proper backbone. I'm not just somebody that just like I have to go to the bathroom, so you're not pissing in your pants. You have a bag. Like, I'm not doing it here. I'll wait. I can hold it in. That's the only two words we hear it from the Pia Gvura. Gvura is Malchus, Malchus Peh, Tzimtzum, Kamamras Alpen Hashem, Klolos Atoyre Kulei. This has everything in it. In order to understand this in very good, we have to understand the mahus and the achdus from Kitche Bericha. Shenikri Yachid and Yuchid. He is geeinzigst and is one. He's one. In other words, I get to a point where from I look at everything that comes at me, I'm feeling it. Everything that's going away from me, I'm bringing it back to me until you become one with yourself. Everything else that you see here, this, that, everything is just a vessel. All my stuff is just the matter.
Goes away from you. What does that mean?
My whole day, stuff. I lost a deal, I make a deal. My wife said so. My son said so. Everything that's happening around me is for me to find my center line, to find my light, to find my flow.
Yes.
Okay, just go with that for now. Relax your forehead. Relax. Let it go.
I was also getting
Yes.
stuff.
The Chomim, it's not. This is not Ataraisa, Chavre. This is just. It's Ataraisa is let it flash in, let it blitz. It's a tzelem. Let it just become. Don't try to understand it. Just let it flow to the heart. Let the brain, the mind go, and then take it to the heart, and let the fire do the work. The Chomim Shulavadu, who Kamosha Hoy Shnir Ve'elam Mamish, and all of us gleiben that he is one. Who Kamosha Hoya Kodim Shnir Ve'elam Mamish Hoya Hu Levadu. He was all one before the ganze Spiel hat sich angefangen du. It was him himself. Ik moest kasef atuhu atshol nivre olam. Dib is der was bis das beschaffende Welt. Atuhu bis nivre olam. Dib is derselbe Gott was is von wenn sich geworden beschaffende Welt. Rumi is it? Where is that Rumi? Ah. Wow. Atuhu bis nivre olam. He's blessed. He can do that. He can crumble up and just make himself very small. Bittel. Perish. Who mamish? We'll check if it's bittel or if it's smallness. We'll check that.
Weakness.
Huh? What? By the way, there's a beanbag over there. A beanbag.
Full of coats.
We can put the coats on the floor if you want to sit in the beanbag. It's a very comfortable beanbag. It's properly broken in. By my chavrusa that I have in the morning, he trained my kids how to sit on it, so they're broken in the perfect way. Atahu mishnevra chuli. No, Mechi, you're sitting here. You can't go there. You can't. You have to sit. Bring the beanbag. Yeah.
You're the boss.
We're in altitude now.
Yeah.
You can't just pull out.
Right.
It's gonna cost
Perfect
double.
balance.
Okay, fine.
Atahu mishnevra perish hu mamash blishim shenik dachsiv anei avay lo shenisi ki olam hazeh lechein kol olamas adelinam enim po'alim shim shinam ba'avdusei. Everything that you see happening over here does not change anything about in his existence. Okay, but yeah, We're still good, but it's only 10:20. We're good. Okay. Now, I want to preface this over here. There is as we're learning this stuff, there's a lot of things that we are questioning. What does it mean? I'm not feeling the difference. Like we say, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. I'm not impressed. Like, what do you mean? He created the sky, the Himmel, and the Stern, the Luna. I don't expect anything else from him. Fine. Well, I don't have the godless of it. So it takes a little bit of time until you start processing, and it's taking you out, and then it's taking you in. So the fact that he's the one, and he was one before he created, didn't cause anything, it may not move anything in you, but listen, follow the process. Begin kol olim sayelem ene pa allen shim shine bach this is barg behibaram ma'an ma'an liyash shekomoy shoyu hu lavada hu yochad dem yochad koin behibaram kein hu lavada hu yochad dem yochad achashabaram. Just the way he was one before he created the world. Listen to this line coming up. I'm asking for your attention. Zoom in with your head and your heart. Just the way he was before he created the world and everything, he was one. In other words, right now I'm looking to impress. I'm doing something, I bring home a gift to my wife so I can get something back in return. I communicate with my child so I can get something back in return.
What if
all that was happening within it? It was all one. Nothing had to happen. It was all one. Everything was in perfect shlemus.
Why does it always have to be in return? Why maybe it has to, maybe it's like you bring home a gift, flowers for your wife, for yourself.
Good. That's where we want to get to.
Okay. We'll get to it.
Yes. No, that's yichud. I'm bringing it for myself because
that's the return.
Yeah. In other words, I don't anymore. My ego needs something. I give you, give me back. But if I'm present with myself, I'm bringing it for me, for us, for you. It's the same thing. It's all understood. If I'm not in such a good mood today, nothing happened. Nothing happened. It should be like, hello, I need some space, right? It's all, we're learning how to, not to make, this is what's coming down now. There's Gevurus now. So what am I supposed to, let's deal with it. Mishim de kule kama kloi chashiv, uke ein ke efes be'efes mamash. Okay, listen to this powerful line over here. Mishim de kule kama, he's one and is ge'einzig, because everything for him is kloi chashiv. It's like as if it takes up no space. Uke ein ke efes mamash. Kis havas kala oilmas, because the creation, the bashafing von alle Welten, al yonim v'tachtoinim, ma'ayin le'yesh v'chyusim v'kimim v'mekama shaloi yachzir aliyas ein v'efes k'shehoyo, ene ela dvar Hashem v'riach pivus baruch hamluvish behem. Okay? So listen to this. Everything that you see in existence, this bottle over here, sitting right here, is being held together by a certain vibration, by a frequency. Okay? If that frequency stops,
How does it stop?
I'll tell you how it stops. Thank God it doesn't. Okay,
Okay,
but if there is a plane going over here, Mach 5, which is not allowed to fly over cities where people live, these windows will blow out.
Yeah.
If there's tremendous wind and lightning, the windows could blow out. That's what happens when there's a storm. Why? What's happening? Because this is on a frequency 2450, and that's frequency 24560. So the minute it overpowers, then it breaks. If you are in a low frequency, walking around a low frequency all day, and then you do something that is a higher frequency, like you're giving tzedakah or you're giving somebody a compliment, you just broke that frequency. All of a sudden you're getting into a better mood. If I'm not in a good mood and I'm bamacht and I can't flow properly, I turn on music and I listen to it. What's happening? What happened that I shifted my
higher frequency?
Higher frequency? It broke the lower frequency.
Broke it or it elevated it?
Sometimes you need a breakthrough, and sometimes you just need a shift. When you become mindful, it's not a break anymore. So that's why, in the beginning, it's a break, because it's an overpowering, and that's why they come in and he's like, "Is it not too much? Is it too?" Because it was a break. That's why we don't want to break.
What's the Shvius HaKelim according to this discussion?
Shvius HaKelim, yeah, Shvius HaKelim is an absolute overabundance of light, which means before, when the first time this was done, all the spheres were lined up one on top of the other. There was Chabad, those were the only three that they had the brains. They knew better. But Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Malchus, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod Yesod, they just exploded. Why? Because it was each one on their own. Chesed was, all he saw was Chesed. I love. It was too much. Because it was consciousness, and you can't process this level of consciousness all alone. And then Gevurah was sim, he busted. And once one started busting, they all went bananas. And these are the Shiva Malachim that were born and they died. Lifnei Melech Yisrael. Okay, so this is how this works, and we're going through the same process now in the micro.
Is it a matter of when it's awareness, it's elevation, and when it's known awareness, it's shvir?
Very good. When there's awareness, then there is das, and when there's das, there's tikkun. When there's tikkun, then there's no shvira, which means that I can process. I'm processing what's happening. Once I'm processing what's happening, instead of being in the spin, it's so overwhelming, and I can't think. I'm raising my awareness, and once I raise my awareness, I'm above it, and now I'm watching. And when you're watching, you're the Nesher. The Nesher, he glides. He goes for an hour. He looks, he sees a star, comes up. So as my problems are coming, I'm observing. I don't get excited. I'm holding. And when it's time to act, you go in for the Nesher, and you act, and you eliminate and process the way you have to stay in flow.
Because when you watch, you can watch everything.
Yes. When
Right?
you have
You
Das
watch
Eli,
everything.
you watch everything.
You watch everything.
You watch everything.
You watch.
Yes, and you learn to listen to your little boy. You don't betray your little boy. You don't let something cause you pain, and you're like, yeah. You watch, you check, and then you go for the kill. And this is how you do berurim. Okay? So now, let's listen to the line.
The marshal.
The mashal. No mashalom needed. You all have the mashal.
That's the Galton, by him.
Yes, so let's go back over here. Now, I want you to understand is kula kama kaloi chashe v'ka'anke efes mamash ipshat hazoi. We used to think in low frequency we are processing this as the Welt is is garbage. It's nothing. Yes, it's hevel avalim, and this is how we process it from the squeeze. Okay. What Chassidus is telling us here, telling us something else over there. Just the way there is up there in high consciousness is mamish, like everything is an ayin, there is no yeshes, everything is connected, there is no, I'm just in flow. So too down here, everything is nothing, is just flow. What you think is a separation and it's in between you. It's no. There is kilakam kilakashiv. There's Eibishter, just like he's up there, he's down here. Which means, in your sandwich, in your car, in your watch, in your day-to-day, in your intimacy with your wife, you're touching and feeling godliness. You're touching and feeling Eibishter. You're touching and feeling, and this is in the Savalekers Baruch Tachtonim. He wanted to have a dwelling place in Tachtonim, in vessel. He wanted to be felt. He wanted to be tasted. When you're eating, close your phone and taste the salt, taste the sugar. Watch what happens to you, what does to you. That is Dvar Havaya. Now, if you're eating high conscious food, you're going to process high conscious Havaya. If you're eating low frequency food, you're going to go in Tohaim, and then you can go of Nukta Tohaim Rabba. Your Yisrael goes in Tohaim, and then you're paying your taxes, and it keeps bringing more and more pain. But if you eat high conscious food, you're in Nesher mode. Now you're able to watch when a temptation or desire comes up. You're observing, you're watching, you're looking, and you're holding, and then you shoot that thing up to Keser, and you watch what happens from there. And from there, it's easy. You bring in brachas for Blima Reisel Baschana, right? And you bring in brachas for yourself. You bring in brachas and you're bringing down Shefa.
So what do you mean? What happens? You said you look, and then you go for the kill. You turn it upside. You put that up.
What happens is that you don't get taken over by your emotions.
Put that up to Kesser.
You don't get caught up in like, oh, I'm feeling. No. cycle. Is this gonna bring me good? Where am I? Is this gonna keep my flow, or is this gonna cost me? Gonna cost me bringing in choshech in my house, choshech in my heart?
Because it's so natural, though. It happens so
Right, it
natural.
happens.
But guess what? But what's happening is that if the ball is a fastball, then it happens naturally. You don't see it happening. It's watching the tennis ball comes at 135 miles per hour, and then it just comes in. Hold on a second before you sit down. Give me that placenta. Where's the placenta? The stick.
The
Yeah.
sage?
The sage. Yeah. Give me the actual sage. Yeah. The other one.
No.
Is that it? That is the other one?
Stay
This
with
is
it.
the sage. This is
Oh yeah. Give me the sage. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
This one.
Pablo.
So what happens is that
Fastball, the fastball.
so the fastball is there is a way to when you watch the tennis ball, it comes at 135 miles per hour. All you can see on the screen is that it's going from one end. Your head goes, and like you can't even see it flying, right? You can't even see it coming. So because it's a fastball, but eventually, as you learn to go into Das Elyon, as you're going into Das Elyon, you're able to slow the ball down, and then you see the ball coming. How does that happen? How do we slow the ball down? How do you see it coming? Okay. What happens is that now that I'm not on the spin, I'm taking time out of my week where I'm stopping the clock. I'm stopping the clock and I'm checking in. I stop the flow, so I have time to breathe. I have time to awaken my heart to my center line, my flow, and by doing that, when the minute I see something, now when this temptation comes, I'm watching, and I'm able to think for a second. It's not overflowing me. It's not coming all over me. I'm stopping the flow. By stopping is by shutting down your phone. Stop the incoming, and then once you come back into it, you're able to see: is this going to bring me choshech or oy? Is this going to put me back behind the 8 ball? And sooner or later, you're not fighting anymore with the child's play with das tachten. It's I have a taiva, I have a temptation. Rather, you're like, oire choshech. Am I going to fall? Or am I not going to fall? And then you just fly.
I saw personally a major thing with those things. I mean, it's
By what? By giving in to the desire?
no, not giving in.
Gewoon eens meer vinden.
Not giving in. It's very funny with the stories that I'm going through. It's like
How
looking
you're
back.
getting fuel to glide by not giving in.
gliding. It's not like I don't even feel it anymore. I don't even feel the desire is not anymore.
Because you're already connected up here.
The desire is not there. That's what I'm asking.
Do you need me to awaken your desire?
The desire is not there.
Do you want your desire to be awoken? Was wisst du? Zoek Zadig, was wisst du?
Ik zoek niet goed. The desire is not.
Es geht für jeden und dann ist es für jeden.
Desire geht, alles is fine.
Okay.
De heerst gretsen er.
He's saying that he's
I'm
experiencing.
very
Ich weiß das ja
funny.
so. Ich will ihm noch, ich will
It's
ihm
very
sagen.
fun. You can tease me. I have no clue. I have no problem with that. I love that. I love when you tease me. Fine.
Yeah, can.
But ze zoeken desire redder. De zaak moet zich gaan door. Moshe.
Ja, geef no.
De zaak moet zich gaan door.
Ja.
Je wijst toch ja.
Ja.
The desire became much less. Favor.
Desire became much less?
These are for us.
Desire became much less. Okay, so explain. Okay.
Na get away.
Let's go. Okay, you have a question? Was it the Ostakasha?
No, he's telling you.
When I get favos.
Yeah.
Favos hat zich getoast. Wieso hat zich getoast? Wieso?
This is the toast.
Ja,
Yes,
favor.
because
Like meaning, ik ga zag meer control wie ik ben ever geweest.
correct, because you're activated your das. Until now and now you're becoming aware, you have what's going on, you realize I'm not bad. There is one part of me that is living in the shasu, which is in the no, and there's another part that's in the yes, which means guys, you stay with me, which means that as I'm building matter, we understand now from childhood I have negative matter and positive matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so my negative matter has been triggered. Until now, only my negative matter has been triggered. Right now, I'm triggering my positive matter. How? By checking into a positive circle where you're only seeing your good, where people are looking at you and they see a child, they see beauty, they see light. Right?
Okay.
People walk in and they think they're bad. But so
they see me.
so once
Yeah.
once I start pressing this side, you become aware of the right side. Once you communicate with people that are pressing each other only in the positive. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Only
so
positive.
only positive. So positive is going to trigger positive.
There you go.
And all of a sudden,
That's the answer.
it's not anymore you're dealing with with like in the sandbox. Oh, these Gespräche auf mir, gießen auf dir. All of a sudden, you're raising the awareness, and it's no longer anymore. You're like, what? I'm not even talking your language. I'm talking a whole different language. I'm talking about light and choshech. From this place, I gotta be stupid. When I'm in the eagle, when I'm up here,
Gotta be
I'm
stupid.
not going into the mud. What am I, stupid?
There you
I'm
go.
not getting stuck. I'm gonna clip my wings. I'm gonna die.
There you go.
They're gonna eat me up alive. I go this way.
Ich weiß, wie ich darf spielen in der Modsen ist.
That's it.
Ja.
So now you can see
I
it.
know
So you,
which mod I
so
should
you
play
see
with.
so you see the fastball.
Famous sandbox.
Exactly.
Is there a way to kick it back into the negative?
The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that once you get rid of it, it will never come up again unless you mamish
No,
these.
I'm talking about kicking back that energy into a negative person,
That's
negative situation.
That's what I said. So he said, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that once you're out
With what?
from a negative spin, once you start seeing the light, once you get rid of something, it will never bother you again. It will not, unless you start digging into your tooth, and you're gonna
Why would you
Yeah,
dig
what if
in?
it's a person?
why will dig in? Because
We're used to that.
first of all, one, you use that. If you don't have a proper support system, then it's easy to get triggered by your wife, by your mother, by your father, by your sister. One phone call to my. Let me tell you how you can fall back in. Somebody shared that today. He was talking to his friend, and it was telling him what's happening to him, right? And he went a little too far. That guy couldn't handle. He was being too vulnerable. He was sharing like a concept, like he said. They're telling him like, oh, you're too high conscious, and they shut it down. In other words, imagine you go to your father and mother, you share something like I'm feeling energy, and I'm like, that's just still not shtisim.
Ask the guy.
Just had it.
One second. What's happening is your little boy just got hurt, and with that, you go back into a spin. If I come home in a good mood and my wife is not on the same page, come home from Uman and you're gliding, you're flying, and you're all positive, and you come in, you pick up where you left off the mess because you didn't prepare properly for what's coming, right? And you come home and the kids still all you're on a high, and it's like, now you're coming home and the kids leave a glass, and then you're back into your negative, you're back into the spin.
Yeah. There
You
you
can
go.
prepare for it though.
Yes, you can.
You don't know how high you're gonna get there.
So you 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before, shloshim yom koden lachak, you start preparing.
And with
Yes,
that,
Peter,
I'm asking from that place.
Yeah.
From that place, is there a way to kick back that energy to the negative person?
Oh,
I'm ready
Positive.
for it.
of course.
No.
I'm ready for it. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
And it has
Sure.
no effect on me.
Yes.
But I want to give it. I want to
Oh.
shoot it back.
Sure.
For example.
100%. In other words, you want to give them positive. You
Yeah.
want to break them
Yeah.
positive. 100%.
Niet zo te saluten.
100%. So you have to do it chachma. You can't overpower the system because then they're afraid. They kick. They don't have
Yeah.
a tight support system that's like
They
holding
don't-
all the questions
they
in
don't
your
know what
face.
you're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah,
It'll
so-
probably
so-
take a couple of days.
So what you do
They
is
think you fell off the moon.
Yeah,
What-
that's
so-
what
Als
I'm
gaat
saying.
dat nervous breakdown.
so what you
Yeah, I don't know
do
what you're
so what you do is
Yeah.
what you do is you start emanating that type of energy. Less words and more being present. Start leading by example. Just start leading by example. 1 morning, 2 mornings with a smile, everything is calm, and then they go in, they fall into automatic mode, but you're not phased. And even if you do get phased, now you come back, you're like, hey, I apologize, I think I was a little harsh before. Like, oh wow.
You have to give space a little bit.
You have space, and then if you mess up, you come back, you communicate. Now you have twice as much power.
Sick!
Twice as much power. You use everything to
Sick.
your advantage because now you lost it. So you take a half an hour, and then you're like, or half a day, like, hey, I apologize. I was out of line. I hope I wasn't too much.
If I can be a little bit vulnerable, I'll share with you.
hier. Heb zo'n
Last
power
week
als
I
die.
gave too much to my wife, and I decided to back off a few days. And I see you have to back off.
Ja.
You have to back off in order It worked very
Was
good.
het dort? Was het?
Neem
Had
die,
ik
neem
geen-
in
had ik geen Casamigos?
Nee, geloof aan. Mag ik dan maar eens een fruit?
Waan?
Dat waan,
Ja,
ja.
breng er ook nog
Wat
wat.
is de andere?
Ik gooi van een bak smarten.
No, ze doen it. Bring it on. We're good. There's so much wine.
Ik heb hier, laat me gezegd. Let me open.
Sorry.
5 stones.
Good
Nice.
after that. It's nicht schlecht
Heb je
gerade.
dat vast? Ganz good. Moshe, it's very good.
Apologize.
This one.
No, I don't want.
You
This is.
don't
I'm
want
in a
it.
different. I need to go somewhere.
What?
No, it's good.
Okay.
So.
Nicht schlecht gerade.
Fast.
Sorry for Moshe.
Ja, was ook sorry voor
No, it's good. Why sorry?
Gelukkig zijn ze
Ja,
goed.
het
De zaak
het
is.
is belangrijk.
So okay. So right it.
It's a taste.
So basically again, kila kama kila chashav mamash means not that the alles is hevel of olim. It means that he is here the way he is up there, just the same way. You want Atzilus, here in Veld is Atzilus. We are Malchus Atzilus. Our machines are Malchus Atzilus. And automatically when you process something positive, you are just processed Malchus Atzilus. You are in Ein ve'efes mamash. Kila kama kila chashav. Elamashal. כמו בנפש האדם, כשמדבר דיבר אחד, שדיבר זה לבד כלי ממש, אפילו לגבי כלולת נפש המדברת, שבכינס לבוש המצוי שלו. When somebody speaks something, when I'm saying words now, it's really nothing compared to from where it's coming from. Because there's 3 levushim. Relax your head, relax. There's machshava, diber, maisa. These are the 3 tools, the three levushim. These are the 3 levushim that process this machine. Okay, this very complex machine called human, Adam, Yid, is being processed with machshava, dibur, and maisa. Okay. למש כמו רשם אדם בשלב דיבר איך שדיבר זה לבד כלי ממש אפילו לגבי כלולת נפש המדברת שהוא בכנס לבוש המצוי שלו שהוא כוח הדיבר שלו שיוכל לדבר דיבורים לאין קץ ותכלס he can talk דיבורים לאין קץ ותכלס וכל שכן לגבי בכנס לבוש הפנימי שלו שהוא המחשבה שנמנה נמשך הדיבורים והם חיוסם ואין צריך להם לגבי מהוס ועצמס הנפש שהם עשר בכנסי הנעל חב"ד שמהם נמשך אוסס מחשבה 1 second. Let's go back over here to another Nakuda. That we can talk the Burim, Ein Ketz V'Tachlis. What does it mean, Ein Ketz V'Tachlis? Let me just give you, so you understand what Dibur is for, how powerful this is, and what it's supposed to be used for, not to be used in low frequency. This thing that created us, that is behind everything, is Lamala La'Ein Ketz, Lamata Ein Tachlis. He's going up there, it's endless. Ein Ketz, it's endless. And comes down mata in tachlis. It comes down to a place that it has there's no tachlis in it, but there's no reason for it. Okay? Now we can look at it as it's coming all the way down here to the point of in tachlis, but really what it's really meant to do is, with Das Elyon, I'm realizing that how else am I going to process something that's in Kates? What tool can I use to reach something that's endless? Only something that comes down to the bottom with in tachlis. Okay? Which means, let's follow this. Again, if I need to process, the higher something is, the lower it falls. So if I'm dealing with something that's so high, that's endless, how am I going to meet something at the bottom? How am I going to communicate with that? Only with something, a tool that has ein tachlis. Otherwise, we would just bust. Just like this bottle is gonna explode. Just like this bottle, I'll tell you. Just like this bottle is gonna explode from something that's a higher frequency, a higher vibration than that. Okay. Just the way when something is more powerful than me, my fakak temud, something more powerful is going to bust my frequency, my vessel, and it's going to take me into a higher space. Which is what that means is that in everything that you are doing during the day, when you find yourself in a place, in a point where you're like, there's no point in this. There's no tachah. Why am I doing this? Why am I going through this? Bingo. Once you bring mindfulness to that, you just tapped into Enkates. You just tapped into a point of godliness that is pure kesser. And if you have a realization and awareness at that moment, you daven from that place, you're out. You can that's where it opens up, because you just tapped into a place of, and this is the whole idea of, putting tefillin on guys. And the Veld was asking questions. The Rebbe like Hayituch, they didn't get it. If you have a vat and blik, if you have a wide and open mind, you're able to see that if there's Einod Malvada, if Creator and Eibishter is in everything and everywhere. Now, if I see somebody that walks around in Choshech, what I'm witnessing here right now is not that I'm witnessing absolute kesef. I'm witnessing to an expression that doesn't have a language yet. It's so high that he can't express himself. He's so high up that he doesn't have a place to land. It doesn't have language because it's from such a high place. When I walk around a day in confusion, and I'm having a moment in my day of confusion, I can look at it that I'm confused and I'm weak and I'm this, or I can find myself, wait a second, I'm in the highest level of awareness right now because I'm in Kesser, I'm in a place that doesn't have expression in Welt. I can't express it. When you bring awareness to that, that's Gamsham. That's where you click. That's where you found your purpose of and once you bring that realization, it should release from whatever restriction you're at or in right at that moment. It should release you from that. Okay? So the way it works is, after this we'll stop. L'moshel, this is important, so you understand how the machine works. When there is when it falls into your heart, a certain ava, ava is passion, chemde like lust, beliba in your heart, like I want something, I'm missing something, I want to connect. Before he even goes into the world of letters and blocks and Legos. To think and to be mahader in it. Choshev is more like in the head, and hitter is more from the heart. Hitter alev, yeah. You still don't have, before you showed up to this work, before you showed up in all the letters that you had something happen to you. You went to sleep, you woke up, there was a light, something happened. You downloaded a certain oil, something inside. You had no language for it. You just went blindly. You followed. You ended up in whatever it was, a session or this, that, and the other. Right? You still didn't have the letters. There was just like a chayfet. I wanted. There was a desire. Simple. And my heart was lusting. To this thing that was glistening. And now we're talking about a raw fire that could be, it's dangerous, technically speaking. It's dangerous because I could go with this raw fire. I can, if I'm caught in that moment, I can be pulled to the left. I can be pulled to go somewhere and land that oil in that. Or I can stay focused and land is make a yichud in something pure, something holy. There's a level even before you feel it in your heart. It started in your head and your chachma. There's something that's a very dry nekuda. You don't feel it. It's just part of who you are. Again, rak hoyse bekoy chachmas v'sichloi v'diyaso. Yeah, I think it opened up there. Rak hoyse bekoy chachmas v'sichloi v'diyaso. Shohi noide esla oise davar shohi nechmad v'nam v'toy v'yafel l'siger l'dabek b'kegan lumad is a chachma. When to learn something, elechel is a machal out of something sweet. There is in the throat. We learned this in the Tzemach Tzedek after Pesach. There is the 5 chachmas. There's a chachma in the throat. When you eat food and you taste it, that is chachma in the throat. Not das. That's chachma before das. There's no das in. If I had to go into das every time I eat, it will take a minute. Eventually, we want to apply das to the chachma, which is a very powerful tool, which in plain language, once you land this in planet Earth, in Olam Asiyah, it's called mindful eating. Shutting down my phone, bringing das to what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, breathing into it, tasting it, no talking, high conscious talk, calm, and watch what that food, that's called where the food is. There's barach b'me'af, it's blessed within. You only need to eat a little bit, and you feel it. Okay, that comes with high level, high conscious food. Okay, so then after here falls into my heart, I'm applying my seichel, my idea. V'achar kach chozav also ma'alev l'moich goes back to moich. Lachshav v'laharabo eich lohitzit avos mekoich alapoil lahasig amachal oi l'midas hachachim apoil. Harei bekan nol v'chinas oisu moich shen oisus koloshen am v'am amadaber maharim behem kolin yuna ha'oilam. So this is how the process works. First there is a raw, there's something in my head. Something in my head. From there, my chokhmah creates something that goes into my heart. From there, it starts expanding this with plain raw fire. I have a desire. I want to. I'm anxious. I have anxiety. That's what anxiety is. Anxiety is there is a certain light, an oil, that just landed into your heart, and you don't know what you don't have the oasis. The reason we don't have oasis is because we are trapped in das tachten. We are trapped in pare. So I'm trapped. I already know that my do's that I do doesn't do it for me anymore. Why? Because you just tapped into something, a light that pare can't fachap anymore. There's no unique to that light. It's too powerful for him. It's way smarter than his fakakta light that he has to offer. Whatever it is, my quick fix that I used to have doesn't do it for me anymore, because this light it's buzzing. It's a roife. It's a very strong light. It's real. It's true, and nothing sheker. There is no unique for it. Nothing else can touch it, because I had a real experience. I had a moment of connection. So until I'm going to find something that meets that connection, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be restless. Now, this is called zichronis. It's called memories. Everything that we are learning and everything we understand we are just waking up to it. You're not learning anything new. Nothing here that you're listening to is new. It's just triggering something within you that's awakening zichronis. All this is waking up by triggering the positive, triggering the light. So there is an awakening from that. So this koyach, this oil, once you connect to it, the regular stuff doesn't fix it anymore, because you're starting to remember. You're bringing in the memories coming in, and that's where anxiety is coming from. This oil starts spinning, and it's restless until something has to give. The best way to do this is to land it, right, with the tzedukah, with something positive. This is how you land it. You ground it. Chamishos B'Shvat landed that. It's a tremendous awakening, like a lightning of bina that just opened up, and you're just looking to connect to your tefillin, to connect to a mikveh, to connect whatever you can connect. That's not gonna, as long as it's safe for the little boy to connect in that way. Don't go overboard, because you're not doing anything. You're just gonna have more cleanup to do. So from there, once this fire, remember Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't figure out how to do the menorah, so the Eibusha showed it to him with fire. Fire connects all the dots, because it doesn't ask, it doesn't take any prisoners. You either surrender to me, or I'm going to burn you. That's it. You can't get in my way. And this is how we connect the dots. So from the heart, it goes back to my mind. Once I'm feeling this fire, now I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do that's going to make me feel good? What can I do to land this? What can I do to ground this? Once you bring it into your heart, now you're finding letters and oisias how to ground this fire. And once you have the letters and oisias, you can bring it into a place. From here, we give birth to the oisias. It's the language that we speak. Okay, what language do we speak? Give somebody a compliment. Give your wife a hug. Don't be afraid to make eye contact. Let the kids see this. Let them experience this. Because as you do this, you're bringing zichronis back to them, and their memories are right there. They're right by right where they started. Right, so they haven't have that much corruption. Their matter is still programmable. They're not closed off yet. They're not yet in tit and chomer and levanim. They're not yet etched in stone. It's easy to fix it. Like boom, it melts at Kriyas Sham, so they're right there. You come home happy. They feel it. They're right there. Okay. And from there, we can start thinking and start imagining, and this is how we start building our Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi, which is going to be made out of fire. Once it's on, you can't put it out. Once it's on, you can't put it out, and it's going to be burning forever. Netzch Yisrael Lo Yishakir.
Moshe, you asked for it. Can I share the story you want to have today?
You can share a story.
You asked for it, so I'm sorry.
Go ahead.